What do you mean? What are you guys asking me? Am I a big fan of one battle after another? What would even give you that impression, to be honest with you? Hold on, I gotta put this poster away. Let me just put my glasses on. It's really bright on set today, you know what I mean? I'll be right back. Gosh, you're asking me all these questions. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real review, and today we're getting into, yes, one of my favorite movies of the year. This film, One Battle After Another, it's just incredible. A huge thank you to Warner Brothers for giving me the chance to watch this movie last week for this review. It's actually now in theaters. It released on September 26th, and the runtime is only 2 hours and 40 minutes. I know, I was joking when I said it's only 2 hours and 40 minutes, but trust me, you do not feel the runtime at all. The film, if you don't know much about it, well, there's so much to get into, but before we even get into the details, my positives and my negatives, if it's your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I love talking about movies, TV, and all the news in between. So if you do too, hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 30,000 subscribers. Like this video and get loud in the comments, and let me know, what's your favorite Paul Thomas Andreson film? And if it's One Battle After Another, I don't blame you. So the film, like I said, is directed by Paul Thomas Andreson, and it stars a huge cast of actors and actresses. We got Leonardo DiCaprio as Bob, Teyana Taylor as Perfidia Beverly Hills, Sean Penn as the evil Colonel Lockjaw, what a name, Chase Infiniti, who's excellent and plays Willa, and Benicio del Toro, who plays Sensei. Sergio Carlos is the name, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But the film has many more performances, right, that are awesome in this movie, but that's our core cast, and they do so well. But let me not get ahead of myself. If you're wondering, okay, I've seen maybe a trailer or two, but what's the movie all about? Well, without spoiling anything, One Battle After Another focuses on a revolutionary group named the French 75, and they have their evil enemy resurface after 16 long years. He threatens to kill and destroy everyone associated with this former revolutionary group, so now it's up to them to survive and save the life of one member's daughter. There's just so much buzz going around with this film. It's making money at the box office. It helped Warner Brothers cross the $4 billion global box office number, the first studio this year to do that, which is really cool, if I'm not mistaken. And it is really nice to see that a film like this got the budget it did and is getting the appreciation it deserves, because One Battle After Another is an excellent film, you guys. So I don't even want to waste any more time. I want to get right into my positives, because there's so much to talk about and rave about with this movie, and it does start with Paul Thomas Andreson himself. He was the perfect choice for the film, but also I love the fact that even though this isn't an original screenplay, it's based on a novel, he takes this material and not only makes it digestible, but just turns it on its head. There's so many twists and turns that I loved in this movie, and there's just nobody making films like this man. The movie definitely felt fresh and unique and incredibly well made, considering I don't think this is the strongest year for films, but I never even felt the runtime, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of glad was nearly 3 hours long. If it was any shorter, I think we would have missed out on some of the characterization, the drama, and the build-up to make this film feel so satisfying by its conclusion. I also thought that there was a great sense of style here. Yes, there's humor, surprisingly a lot of humor, but there's also action and a ton of drama. So like, if you're coming for all three of those buckets, you're gonna be satisfied and feel full when you leave your theater. I even thought each character got their fair share of screen time here and got their due, except maybe for one character, which we'll talk about later in this review, so stick around. And I, again, love and applaud the fact that this movie stuck to its guns, not just in the like drama and humor department, it stuck to its guns in the social commentary department, which we're going to get into in just a little bit. But right now, we're going to go from director to ensemble cast, because both of those areas of the film are just excellent, but the ensemble cast here, in my opinion, was perfectly assembled. The best performance for me is objectively Sean Penn as Colonel Lockjaw. I hated him in this movie. Like, he was awful. I mean, probably the most hated character in the past decade for me. Okay, past 5 years. But come on. This guy's acting is excellent. That's not a surprise for people, right? There's even an older generation, like the boomers, who will tell you, Sean Penn, excuse me? Yeah, he's great. So it wasn't a surprise that he and Leonardo DiCaprio were awesome in this movie. We'll get to Leonardo DiCaprio. But you know what? My favorite performance in the film. Now this is me, right? I thought Chase Infiniti stole the show as Willa. She is darn good in this movie. She was in Presumed Innocent, the Apple TV Plus series. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. It's really good. But Chase Infiniti steals the scene because of her screen presence, but also because of her ability to float in between two different areas of her character. There's the vulnerable side of Willa, and then there's the strong and commanding side of Willa. The thing is, she's trying to find her place in this world that, well, unfortunately, she's become a product of, and she didn't ask for it. You know, like being the daughter of a former revolutionary member. Yeah, of course, Leonardo's playing a character who's paranoid, unfortunately doing a lot of drugs, but also someone who cares for his daughter, just doesn't know how to keep his daughter out of harm's way. So it is a lot, right, to take away. It's a complex character she has to play. But by that third act, I was like trying not to stand up and applaud Chase Infiniti here, okay? But she's next up, man. I really love when I come away from a film and I see a actress like Chase Infiniti, because mind you, this is her feature-length debut, and I can confidently tell you that she's next up. So we're going from a rising star to someone who's already a superstar in his own right, and that is Leonardo DiCaprio, because in this movie, man, Leo is just Leo. And he's been excellent, right? I mean, he did Killers of the Flower Moon recently, but you guys have seen him in so many different roles. So again, legend, one of the all-time greats. But this performance in One Battle After Another, in my opinion, is his strongest since The Wolf of Wall Street. And I hope this doesn't sound weird, but his endurance as an actor is really darn good in this film. He keeps up with a lot of these story beats, just like his co-star here, Benicio del Toro, who plays Sensei. But man, both of them are able to really keep up blow for blow with this movie. And I know there's a moment in the film, in the second act specifically, where we get introduced to Benicio del Toro, and the film from that point on doesn't stop. And both of them are able to keep up with it, literally running in the film. But I thought that Leonardo DiCaprio was just so captivating. The man is one of my favorite actors of all time, but in this movie, he helps elevate scenes so much. But also, he's not alone in that regard, because another actress that actually surprised the heck out of me, because even though I know she's a talented artist, I've never seen her act before, and that's Teyana Taylor, who plays Perfidia Beverly Hills. That's quite the name, and actually fit for the movie so well. But Teyana Taylor plays one of the revolutionary members here who falls in love with Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Bob. I know. Again, the reason she surprised me here was less because I didn't think she could do it. It was more so because the material given was heavy. But she's strong, and she carried that material. And not only that, I thought in the dramatic moments, that's where I was curious about, because she brings this fierceness to her character, and she does that very well. But it was in the more dramatic moments where you start to understand the complexities of her character. Can she carry that? And I thought she did very well at doing it, and she did. It worked. Now, do we get a lot of Teyana Taylor? I know this is spoiler free, so I can't say much, but I can tell you, when she's on screen, she's making an impact. So we go from a very persuasive, hard-hitting performance from Teyana Taylor to someone I know I just mentioned, but Benicio del Toro. My goodness, this legend. Not only is he hilarious in this movie, he's the funniest actor in this film. His comedic timing is great. Also, the material written for him was very funny. He is just able to grab my attention, and I'm just like, yes, Sensei. I'm just able to keep up the entire time with him. But there is a pace to this movie, like I know I mentioned. It is very rapid, but he's the man for the job because he kept up the whole time. I mean, there are some moments where I'm thinking, bruh, Benicio, are we going to have to nominate you for Best Supporting Actor here? And speaking of the supporting cast, I do want to make an honorable mention here with Tony Goldwyn, who you know from Scandal, of course, but he plays a businessman type who's really a white supremacist. I don't like that character. I hated that character just like I hated Sean Penn's character. but Tony Goldwyn's acting is so good, and I laughed at the ridiculousness of it. But here's the thing. There's a lot of reality rooted in this character, and that's why Paul Thomas Anderson wrote him this way. So, yeah, man, there's a lot of white supremacists out there masquerading as businessmen, and Paul Thomas Anderson said, I am not shy to put pen to paper for that one. So, yeah, Tony Goldwyn, just an incredible actor, and yeah, he did really well in this movie. So, now let's move on to the very next section I want to talk about, which is the technical side of this movie, because all of the elements that make One Battle After Another great, it's not just the directing and the acting, it's the cinematography, the score, and the writing. Now, I was blessed to see this movie in IMAX at my local AMC, so even though it wasn't full 70mm IMAX and what I believe was a 1:1 aspect ratio screen, the full scope of this movie was felt. PTA filmed this truly for the IMAX experience, the 1431, so your tall 70mm IMAX theater with that tall screen, you know what I mean, y'all? And for VistaVision, which is super rare these days. So I wanted to see this movie at least in IMAX once, and I did, even though I would love to see it in 70mm, so I might need to talk to my wallet. But man, this was a film that deserves to be seen in a different format than your standard digital screen. Now, if you do, I still think it's going to be a good experience. Don't get me wrong, a great experience rather. But if you see it in IMAX or VistaVision, it elevates the experience for you that much more. Some people I know don't believe in that, but for me, I can confidently tell you, seeing the film grain swim across the screen, getting the full scope and the breadth of these different car chase sequences, it just melted my heart in the best way. But none of that is really possible without cinematographer Michael Bauman, who actually shot PTA's Licorice Pizza, which was the film he did before One Battle After Another. The nighttime sequences look great in this movie. Even the action is easily trackable but intense, and it's the big sequences that I'm like, oh yeah, he's nailing it. But what really was, in my opinion, some of my favorite shots of the film were these small sequences. You just probably wouldn't notice it because the movie's moving fast. But in the third act, for example, Willa gets in this car, slams the door, but the camera's like almost on the door. It gives you the illusion that you're being slammed with the door into the car, and it just kind of made me so happy. I turned over to my buddy Austin Putnam and said, bro, this is amazing. This is beautiful. And it just adds to the immersiveness of the movie. So honestly, guys, it's between Sinners and One Battle After Another for best shot film of the year. And when it comes to the music in this movie, sure, there's a soundtrack, and there are some tracks that are picked here that do fit the film, but it's the original composition and score by Jonny Greenwood that helps elevate the movie as well. It's layered like crazy. I mean, at times there's just the piano, which almost feels like it never stops playing in the best way though possible. But the score it's kind of like grimy, and then sometimes hopeful, and then sad, and then back to being hopeful again. But all of these different emotions are felt through the instrumentation that Jonny Greenwood uses for each track. I've been listening to the original score recently since it dropped, and it's really good. It really does place you in the moment with these characters. And Jonny Greenwood is not shy in cultivating an atmosphere using some very unique sounds, because he also scored Phantom Thread, which I love the score for that film, and he scored There Will Be Blood. And that's all I got to say about that, because if you know, you know. And I do think that when it comes to Jonny Greenwood's talent, it almost feels like Paul Thomas Anderson and him are like the new, well, I guess I can't say that. I was going to say John Williams and insert director here, because that's on another level. But Jonny Greenwood, he's in that like top tier of composers in Hollywood. And another element of the film that I really loved, and sometimes can either make or break a film, is the amount of social commentary throughout. Some movies are too upfront and not effective in the way that they convey a message they want to get across about an issue or issues plaguing this nation or this world, right? But Paul Thomas Anderson, he must have consulted with some people who are very much in the know about these issues, because the social commentary aspect of this film is incredibly well done. I mean, yes, racists will be very upset with this movie, okay? And those who, well, do we even want to get that far? Nah, I don't want to get into it too much. But let's just say, if you are against immigration, you will be very upset with this film. The movie does not let off the gas. It is upfront in your face saying that it is wrong to be anti-black, anti-immigration, and basically anti-inclusive. But I do like the fact that the movie doesn't shy away from the fact that, hey, these issues, it might be set in a fictional world within the film, but white supremacy unfortunately exists. I mean, there's a lot of people who are anti-immigration in the worst way. These immigration detention centers are pretty terrible. So while the movie is fictional, there's a lot of stuff that happens in real life that helps root the film and make it feel real. At times, I was really sad because you just think like, this is really happening, y'all. So one battle after another is not afraid to get into that area of current events and issues. Okay, so now it's time to get into my negatives, or negative. Yeah, there's only one negative I have about the movie, and that is this. Regina Hall is one of my favorite actors in Hollywood. She's hilarious. She can do comedy, but she can also do drama, and she is good in this movie. She's actually not the negative. The negative is, I don't know why she was given such little screen time, because in the promo for the film, she is played up as this actress who will have a prominent feature in the film. That is not the case. The story does relegate her to having most of her screen time in the first and third acts, but it is still very staggered. So I'm not a fan of how they utilized her character in the movie. She's very good, and I would have liked to see much more of Regina Hall in this film. And that's all I got for the negative section, because y'all, my final thoughts on One Battle After Another are this. I'm not going to sit here and call the film a masterpiece, but I am going to say it is among the top tier of Paul Thomas Andreson films, and it is already tied for my #1 movie of this year. It is easily a 5-star, and if you use Letterboxd like me, you put a heart on that right away. But this movie is a beautiful blend of drama, humor, and honestly, at times, some pulse-pounding suspense, and I did not expect that from this film. I didn't expect to be so into the film to the point where I'm like holding my breath and forgetting to blink. Like, this movie does have a decent amount of suspense, and I actually like the fact that the story and its payoff was well worth the wait and the ride. It's like the ride, like WRIDE. But it was so neat to see how Paul Thomas Andreson was able to weave in and out of his screenplay, and it was effective because also in due large part to the ensemble cast. The acting here is phenomenal. This movie, it's easy to rave about, and it's hard to just pick one thing that it does great, because it does many things great. So One Battle After Another is a movie that it's going to shake you in some instances. It's going to make you laugh. And it's also going to make you feel very satisfied when you leave the theater, because that's exactly what it did for me. So yeah, I'm giving this one 5 sunglasses out of 5. It is just an incredible film. I would not be surprised if it wins Best Picture, gets nominated for Best Director, Adapted Screenplay. It's going to get some acting noms, cinematography, score. It's just really good. So yeah, y'all, there you have it. That's my real review of One Battle After Another, which is in theaters now. So I encourage you to see it. And if you can see it, and if you're able to see it, let me know in the comments below what you think of the movie. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews like this, because I'm looking at my calendar, and lately I've been noticing a lot more screenings that are coming up. You know why? It is awards season, so of course we're getting a lot more movies to watch early. So y'all, thanks so much for checking out everything that I have to say about One Battle After Another. I hope you enjoy it like I did, but if you don't, you can let me know in the comments too. Alrighty, y'all. Well, again, thanks so much for watching. God bless you guys, and I'll catch you at the next screening. Seriously, though, these glasses are huge. How did Leo even do it? You know, oh my gosh, take this to the beach?